Gojo versus the Hashira. I thought this would be a pretty fun topic as both Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer are continuing to cement themselves as the most popular anime of this generation, and as of recently I've been really enjoying both series. So before we start, this video is going to be a bit different from what I would normally do in a versus battle type of video. Normally I'd list off the abilities, speed, attack power, and whatnot to see who should be able to win in a fight. But in Gojo's case specifically, it's really hard to gauge who would actually be able to beat him because in most cases he physically can't be touched. So for this one I figured I'd explain Gojo's Infinity, more specifically his Limitless technique, and the ways to bypass it and see if any of the Hashira can possibly meet those qualifications. So Infinity and most of the JJK power system is fairly complex, most of the time boiling down to who can out-hacks the other in a battle. Whereas Demon Slayer is much more straightforward, where this guy is stronger than this guy, but this guy is faster than that guy and stuff like that. Of course, some characters in Demon Slayer have hacks abilities, but it's mostly the demons themselves and not the Demon Slayers. In just about every case, the Hashira are just physical fighters who use different breathing techniques to make themselves move faster or hit harder, with their ultimate goal of being cutting off the demon's head to kill it for good. The only form of hacks the Hashira really get are the Demon Slayer marks, which just essentially give them an amp on all fronts. Once awakened, the Hashira or Hashira level Demon Slayer gets an exponential increase in physical strength and speed to the point where they are able to overpower and even defeat an upper moon level demon. Every Hashira with the exception of Shinobu was able to awaken a Demon Slayer mark as well. Alright, so now let's get into the inner workings of Gojo's Limitless technique and see if we can possibly get any of the Hashira past it. Gojo's Limitless is a really complex ability where Gojo manipulates Infinity to essentially manipulate space. But it's even more complex than that, because Gojo applies math to this technique to achieve other abilities. To simplify this, Gojo is able to manipulate the distance between himself and the Hashira in this case, by changing the space between them, slowing them down until it gets to a point where they appear frozen. Think of it as Gojo constantly dividing the space between point A and point B, or in numerical terms trying to get from 0 to 1. But between 0 and 1 is 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 and so on and so forth, infinitely adding zeros. Gojo explains it using Zeno's paradox in the series, which is a simpler version of what I just explained. So in order to get past Limitless, at least based off what we've seen in the series, you'd have to do one of two things. Have an attack that ignores space-time, such as Toji's inverted spear of heaven that can nullify any curse technique it comes in contact with, or Sukuna's world-cutting slash that attacks the space where Gojo is and not Gojo himself, therefore hitting Gojo as collateral damage, for example. Or on the other hand, you'd have to have infinite speed, such as like Goku, who can move freely in a void with no time, as Zeno had destroyed it to destroy Mugen, who was fusing with time-space of the multiverse and whatnot. Or someone like Kratos, who can dodge the light of Helios that can light up an infinite realm instantaneously, for example. In example 1, if you have an attack that ignores space-time, then Gojo uses the Limitless technique. It means absolutely nothing as you just bypass it. And in example 2, if you're faster than Infinity, then putting an infinite space between Gojo and you would also mean absolutely nothing because you are faster than that infinite space. So, do the Hashira have anything to bypass Limitless? Short answer, no. The top speeds in the Demon Slayer verse are like multiple times the speed of sound, and maybe in Zenitsu's case like the speed of lightning in short bursts, but nowhere even close to infinite. And there isn't a single attack used in the series that has been shown to bypass space-time. You could argue Nakime, who can open portals into an alternate dimension, but it's not really an offensive type of ability, plus Nakime isn't one of the Hashira anyways. I think this fight is pretty cut and dry. None of the Hashira have anything to even touch Gojo. All Gojo has to do is keep his Limitless active and hit them with like a red. That should be enough to put down any of the Hashira. Gojo would pretty much just win this fight extremely low diff. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more future videos. I also have a Sukuna versus the Upper Moons video in the works. If that sounds like something you'd like to see, then hit that notification bell to get alerted when it comes out. But until then, Trippy out. Thanks for watching. Peace.